Right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining me from. My name is Terry Omodibo. I'm so excited to be in your face again tonight for another awesome section on the pathways to success. It has been a phenomenal time in the last couple of weeks on this series on the recipe for success in your life, your personal life, your career, or your business. It's been an awesome time. So far, I have been phenomenally blessed so far. Uh, Even though I'm the one that is doing the presentation, but in terms of preparing for it, it's been an awesome time. So I'm so excited about tonight because I know if it has been good before today, it's going to be better. If it has been better before, it's going to be a best. And if, of course, if it's been best before, today is going to be simply amazing and transformational. All right. So, I promised today, I'm not just going to be the one talking alone. I'm going to be having someone join me, a friend join me today in the conversation, and it promises to be very exciting. So before we'll be heading on into the conversations for today, let me quickly just see if a couple of persons joining in. Maybe one or two persons join in. That's fine. We're going to have it all the same. All right, we're going to have it all the same. We'll have one or two persons join in. Well, we don't want to wait for any other person. All right, those who are going to join in, I'll probably join much later. They join us from whatever time that they're joining in, or at least some persons too may also want to watch the replay, which we're going to leave for another 24 to 48 hours for others to actually watch. So if you're going to be watching the replay, it's the same thing. All right, it's also great. Feel free to engage us. Let us know where you're joining from or where you're listening from, your name and where you're listening from. It would be also great to get that feedback from you. And also, in the course of the conversation, like I always say, it would be also great that you leave out comments, all right, on the comment section to ensure to enable those who are actually get one or two things from the conversation. So if anything that resonates with you, drop it in the comments. It would be great to read from you, all right? And also, if you want us to put your comments on the screen, for those who are joining us, you want us to put your comments on the screen, feel free, all right? Look at the top of this video. There is going to be a link, all right? Enable the application we're using to allow, so click on the link so that the application we will allow us to put your name on the screen. Okay, that's great. I'll put your name on the screen. So, yeah, there's one or two persons already joining us. Let us know where you're joining me from. Your name and your location will be great. All right, it's great to know your name and your location. That'll be awesome. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. All right. So, like I said, we're going to be starting shortly. Today's section is something I'm very passionate about. If you there's no day, no time I make a content or I create a content that you wouldn't hear the word action in that content. All right, you wouldn't hear the word action. All right, in one way or the other, there will definitely be the keyword action in my content. All right, there's no thing to actually rock around. All right, the simple reason why that word is always in my content is because there is no amount of success that you want to generate. There's no amount of results you will generate without execution. All right, without taking action. There's no other way. All right, the only way that we guarantee you to get results in your life, career, on your business is when you execute all the ideas that comes to your head. It's where you execute all the plans that come that you're able to jot down, all the strategies. Where you take action, that's where the results will come. All right. So All right. So before I jump in, all right, I'm already in the mood. Already in the mood. Okay. So if you're joining us, all right, I see a couple of persons joining in. All right. If you're watching live, please, it would be great. Let us know your name and where you're joining us from. That'll be great. I'll be glad to read from you. All right. Let us know your name and where you are joining me from. And also, please stick to the end. All right. Stick to the end. All right. I guarantee you. All right. There are always three persons in every conversation. Right. There are people who are hearing this for the first time. They probably have heard it one way or the other, but it didn't sink, right? Don't get it twisted. Not everyone knows what we're talking about today. There are a lot of people that are so naive, they don't even understand massive action, right? Not to even take massive action, to take action in the first place. All right, so there's always that one or two or three persons who don't understand, all right, who don't even know what we're talking about, all right? The other sets of people are those who understand what we're talking about, but they've never taken action. For so many reasons. So many reasons they never take action. All right. So many reasons. I can outline some of the reasons today why they never take action. Why they will always not take action in whatever they're doing. So this conversation today is also for you, for those who understand what we're talking about, but they don't do it. All right. This is going to serve as an encouragement for you, to inspire you to get to the next level of taking action, to getting your goals down, all right? And then the third set of people, right, that are going to be listening today are those who understand, all right? They're doing this, all right? This is just to say, hey, thumbs up to you. Go ahead and keep taking action. Go ahead and keep getting the results, all right? And also not just stay there, right? Also go ahead and influence other people. Go ahead and encourage other people. Go ahead and inspire other people. Go ahead and motivate other people to get the results that they desire, all right? Because, like Zig Ziglar says, if you don't help enough people get what they want, you would also not get what you want. Simple. And of course, if you want the world to be a better place, go ahead and help someone get the results that they so much desire. That's so simple. All right. So today, all right, I have someone in the room, all right, who will be taking us in the conversation today. He's going to be sharing his own story. He's going to share his own experiences. He's going to be sharing his own knowledge with you on why you need to take massive action, all right, to achieving your goals, all right? Why you need to achieve massive action, all right, to getting your goals done. So this subject of today, like I said at the beginning, is something I'm very passionate about, all right? I say it every time. I put it in my contents every time. I also try as much as possible to do it all the time. But I also acknowledge that a couple of persons, a couple of people don't even do it. All right. It's not even every time that I do it. Sometimes I also fall into that mess of not taking action sometimes. But the truth is that to getting your results, the path to success in your life, career, or business is to take action. Action. Tony Robbins affirmed that. He said the path to success, all right, is to take massive, determined action. Don't get it twisted. There's no other way around it. All right. So I will always say this, all right, that the distance between your dreams and its manifestation is action. It's action, all right? And the disconnect between saying and doing is action. There's no other way around it. Taking action is better than wanting perfection. Taking action is better than not taking it at all. Right? All right. You are afraid to make mistakes. You are afraid to move in your right direction. You are afraid to make big mistakes. Is mistakes already taken? All right. Like they say, the will not to take decision is decision taken already. Okay. So you need to make decisions today. You need to take action. Dreams don't fulfill themselves. The habit of putting ideas into action is a very guaranteed key to success in your life, right? Success in your life. Visions, all right, that doesn't take, that you don't, the visions without executions is hallucinations, right? Like someone said, vision without execution is hallucination. You're just hallucinating. You need to take action. Action is an antidote to fear. So there's a lot of reasons why people don't take it. A lot of reasons. I'm not going to share that. All right, maybe if I have the time after we have guest speaker shares his own mind today, I will share maybe one or two reasons why I know a lot of people don't take action. All right, but I know that is one very critical step if you are going to get your results. All right, so I'm so excited about tonight. I believe from what I've shared so far, someone has gotten something valuable. But I know that if I've shared something so much valuable tonight, that the one I'm going to be bringing into the room to share with you is going to blow your mind. All right, it's going to blow your mind. I've listened to him. I've read his content. I've seen him do what he does, and he does it so passionately. All right. I also recognize that one of the key words, all right, for him is also action. And that's the reason why he's gone ahead to do several things around action, around taking action. Because, like I said, you don't take action, you don't get results, right? You cannot witch yourself to get your results. You can only take actions to get into your result. So I'm going to be bringing right out into the conversation tonight my friend and brother, no other person than the Wikiman himself, right? Oluseun, Wikiman. Right? Thank you so much for taking our time in the conversation. Sometimes when I watch you, watch your videos, when I watch you, I need to grow up. I need to grow up, all right? Everything that you deploy out there online is simply amazing. Thank you so much for being on the pathways to success tonight and this conversation. Over to you, sir.
Pastor Terry. Anyway, I saved your number on my phone as Pastor Terry, and you will not know why I did that. It is not just because of the pastor of nowadays. When I was in Bayero University, Kano, and maybe this is the first time I'm telling you this, one of the people that had one of the most tremendous impact in my life is by name a guy called Terry Eruto from Delta State. Right from when I got to Bayero University, Kano. I hope you can hear me clearly.
All right.
I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, earpiece, right? Can be louder. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me clearly. Perfect. And he had such a massive impact upon my life. You know, it was not just someone who taught me things spiritually. He also took care of me on campus. You know, I think I never went hungry because of him. And most of the time, I used to ask him that we just met on campus. And he keeps on telling me that, look, people don't just meet by accident.
Mention his name. I didn't get that. What's his name?
His name is Terry Eruto. He's from Delta State.
Because while I was doing the post today, there's someone, all right, that who said when he saw the advert on my status, he said, Wikiman is my classmate.
Wow.
So I was trying to find out if that was the actual guy you're talking about, all right? But
unfortunately, the Bible says that precious in the eye of the Lord is the death of his saints. We lost Terry in 2006 or 7. It was an accident. So anytime I just come across your name, Terry, I just remember him. I'm like, maybe this is Terry back, in full force. He was we will talk about him one of these days. He was a very wonderful guy. So I really appreciate what you've been doing, Pathway to Success. Quite a number of people would have loved to join us, but I'm just discovering that I cannot share because this is a private group. So I cannot really share this outside this place. And even when I send the link, I think the people have to join the group first before they access. Well, that's a challenge that if you want to benefit from Pathway to Success and the powerful value that Pastor Terry here dishes out, please, you have to come and join this group. I think he made the group private for a reason, just like what he told me in today's conversation. He likes dealing with serious-minded people. So I will tell them they need to come here and join the group. Thank you very much again for the privilege to speak here. And this is just the beginning of our strong relationship. I believe so much is going to be done in the course of our work. Even as you are speaking, you already hit a lot of chords. I love a statement you made where you said there is no result without execution. There is no result without execution. Do you know, I once told a story of a day I was trying to make a payment. I think it was on the CAC website, and I did everything right. I uploaded the documents. I uploaded everything I was asked to upload. And then I wasn't getting any feedback. Of course, and that is the first lesson we start learning today. Sometimes we are of the opinion that our problems comes from people, not knowing that oftentimes we are the architects of our own challenges. Oftentimes we are the architects of our own problems. A lot of problems, a lot of setback, a lot of misfortune, a lot of failure comes in because a lot of people abandon process. Now, that is why if you are listening to us, or if you are going to be listening to us, look, just like what Pastor Terry said in his discussion, or I can also call him Coach Terry, that there is no way around it without execution. In fact, I think I love this opening. Without execution, there's no results. Now, why am I saying this? Because I already joined the bandwagon of people who are blaming the system. I told myself, I said, that's why I don't like doing anything on this government website. They are so lazy. They are so incompetent. How will I upload? Now, look, how will I upload a document for 5 days? There is no response. And so I sent them an email and they said, our portal is working. Okay, go back and re-upload the document. I went back and I re-uploaded the documents one after the other. And the next morning, I think I did that around 8 p.m. I called the guy. The guy said, Mr. Sheon, we cannot see this document. What could be the problem? So I was already deciding that, okay, maybe I'm going to go to their office, but then all the process is online. Then something happened. As I was looking at my screen, I noticed at the top right corner, there was a button called send. Well, as an IT guy, I might say maybe it is failure of a proper user interface design. Yeah. But look, there are people who also went to that site and did what they were supposed to do. Oh, so this is what has been stopping my results. And remember, if you're a programmer, no matter what you've written, no matter the codes you have written, there must be, thank you, an execution. So I really love that word. There is no result without execution. And when we talk about action, we are talking about how and what do you execute. Now, remember that life is a process. Just like as an electronic engineer, sometimes I get involved in the design of high frequency amplifiers. Now, sometimes after the first stage of amplification, you don't get the gain you want, and you move over to the second stage. So we call it multi-stage design. So when we are talking about execution, we are not saying that you execute only when you get to the final stage. No. At every stage of your life, you want to start a business, the first stage maybe is ideation, or maybe you are at the stage of business plan, or you are at the stage of abstraction. We into engineering design, we get to the stage of simulation. We also get to the stage of synthesis. One stage cannot successfully lead to another stage if each of those stages has not fulfilled their right level of execution. You know why? Because it is usually the result of a stage that serves as the input to another stage. So you see, the reason why a lot of people don't succeed is because they don't even understand the cascaded nature of the steps that leads to success. Truly, I believe that statistics that said that of a truth, only 3% of people really act on their goals. Only 3% of people really act on their goals. And the reason why we are here is because we want to see how we can close that gap. At first, it might look like a joke. Yeah, 3% act to their goals. But now we are seeing the effect. I attended the World Intellectual Property Day Symposium, and I engaged with a woman from the intellectual property. There's an organization of people that help you to patent your ideas, to protect your ideas. I know what this lady told me. She said that 80% of patents that they get in Nigeria is from the pharmaceutical industry. And the question I ask her is that what about the tech? What about the IT? What about the people in agriculture? What about the industrialists? What about the software developers? Where are they? She said literally nothing. That because a lot of things that we do in Nigeria, we consume. And we can also see the effect of this even in the economy. We can see the effect of this even in the society. I do not want my children to grow in a society where we don't have products. We don't have products, we don't have inventions that can be turned into wealth, that can be turned into money, that can be turned into prosperity. Now, the question is this: do we have schools? Yes. Do we have teachers? Yes. Do we have professors? Yes. Do we have churches? Yes. Do we have bishops? Yes. Do we have anointing? Anointing oil full everywhere. Do you have Holy Communion? Holy Communion full everywhere. Do we have crusade? Crusade full everywhere. Why do we not have products? Why? And the simple reason is because people don't understand that apart from your mindset, apart from your potentials, apart from your dreams, apart from your visions, apart from your desires, apart from your intention, no matter how thick my intentions is, it cannot bring down a mosquito. And unfortunately, we might have concentrated a critical mass of our teachings around this aspect. Fine, we are trying to prepare people. The Bible says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Yes, we are trying to prepare people, but remember what I said in the beginning, there is a cascaded structure. I used to tell people that if you want to succeed, always know that we are in a system. Nigeria is in a system. A business is in a system. You can predict as an engineer the response, the output of a system through the inputs. Engineering time, we call it an excitation. If you are not exciting the system with the right parameters, sir, forget about it. There is no magic. If Nigeria as a whole is not creating anything, we are not creating mobile phones, we are not creating electronics, we are not creating technology, we are not creating IoT, we are not manufacturing nothing. If the simple meaning is that the excitation, or rather there is nothing, and remember, to every action there is an equal and opposite. So if we think we can cheat the system, we can manipulate the system, we can dance around the system. Like I wrote in my book, I say Newton's law is God's law. Nothing moves except there is a practical force applied to it. That is what Newton said. That is God's law, and that is what is responsible for every motion. So if you discover in your life nothing is being done, don't say, but I have a big dream, I have a big vision, I have big potentials, I have big faith. Even faith without works, the Bible says, is dead. Now, we've said you need to take massive action. Now, why do you need? I love the use of that word, massive. I know what I wrote. You know what I wrote in my notes? I said the reason why young people need to take massive action, I say because there's a lot of backlog. We are not saying that we want to catch up. No, we are not saying we want to catch up. The world has really gone far. But look at your personal life. Believe me, a lot of people are not where they should be. Now, when you look at the word massive, Mass. Mass means concentration. Mass talks about density. Mass talks about how much action you need to perform even with the most optimized resource of time. So I use the word optimize. I am not saying 1 year, I'm not saying 2 months. But what we are challenging you is that you need to recover the past. A friend of mine recently traveled to a country and told me that, look, 25 years of my life, I cannot account for it. And when he was speaking to me, I was shaking my head. That's what he told me. He said when he got to that country, he literally started studying at bachelor degree again, past the age of 40. So let us not deceive ourselves. Sometimes you can be in an environment where you are set back to no fault of yours. Now, if you must strive, if you must surge, if you must push, if you must move, you need to concentrate action. You need to take what? Massive action. Now, let me tell you what happens if you don't take action. Just like what Coach Terry said, this is going to be a very short and hot session. What happens if you don't take action? The first thing that will start happening to you is self-doubt. You know, a lot of people are, Coach Terry, it will surprise you to know, probably you might have also heard the statistics. A lot of people are well, let me know what's suffering. A lot of people are going through psychological stress. In fact, recently a friend of mine told me about some of the psychological stress that he has been going through. Do you know a doctor recently gave a statistics? They were performing a research. The doctor said they discovered that 60% of a particular age group of people develop high BP right from Muritala Airport in Abuja. When they leave their station in the US or UK, they check their BP. The moment they land at Muritala Airport, the BP rises. I will look for that article and send to you. It should be somewhere in my archives. Wow. He said their BP rises. Of course, he was talking about a particular age group. He said they noticed that once they land, these people just start getting anxious. So what am I trying to say? A lot of people are going through a lot of things. And one of the first thing I notice, if you don't take action upon your dreams, upon your goals, your aspiration, your vision, your health, just normally I go to the gym, but because I had a program today, I went to the gym from 3 o'clock. People might be looking at me and say, why are you going to gym in the afternoon? Because I have understood that there is no time for excuse. There is no time for what if. Whatsoever I need to do to be sure that my health, by the grace of God, I need to do it. So a lot of people, sir, are going through a lot of challenges. A lot of people are going through a lot of relapse. I've met people who I used to use the word have capitulated. Capitulated means they have accepted their fate. That okay, as long as I can work, I can pay my bills, I can watch the Premiership, I can watch the La Liga, I can sleep, I can wake up, I can work, pay my bills, and continue that vicious cycle. I so much believe that every one of us is created for greater things. If you don't take action, the first thing that will happen to you is self-doubt. Self-doubt. In fact, all the points I'm going to raise are very, very related. You will start doubting yourself. You will start getting to a point where you are asking yourself, is it worth it? I remember a friend of mine one day was crying and told me, he said, look, that it is not worth it. That every time I think about my dream, it starts to look like a curse. And yeah, it starts to look like a curse. You know, sir.
Why me? I don't know. It starts to look like why me?
Why me? I'm telling you.
Same way Moses was asking the questions. Why me?
Exactly. It starts to look like why me? You know, I don't know if you have come across my article, Overcoming Procrastination. That article has been read for I think close to about 3,000 times. and I've spread it all over the place. One of the things that I wrote in that article is that sometimes you have to trick yourself. This thing works for me a lot. I trick myself. Now, what do I mean by trick myself? For example, let me give you a simple example. Let me say I go to the gym and I say I'm going to carry 100 reps of maybe squat or something. Looking at that, it looks impossible. But it's normal. I break it down to 10. When I do the first 10, it is natural. We call it adrenaline. You see, it's because I have acted, and that is part of what we are going to be touching on. There's not much time. I have covered a milestone, and then I have taken 10 out of 100, left with 90. It is natural. Human beings respond to positive energy. It is natural. That is it. No matter who you are. Even if you are one of the most hardened criminals in the world, and somebody tells you that, what did you do? You stole 20 million. Look at that guy that stole 100 million. You will notice that the person that stole 20 million will start feeling good about himself. Because we are made to respond. Now, we are created to respond positively to positive things, but unfortunately, because fear, our natural, which, what will I call it? I think because of, yes, human beings respond to positive energy, but because of, this is very, very critical. Look at, the Bible made a statement. The Bible says something, and Coach Terry, this is also one of my very strong scripture. He says, be not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. I love that scripture. I use it every time. Because there are energy coming from the left and from the right. So, we all did physics in school. A stationary object is only stationary because the positive energy balances the negative one. So you see the reason why Coach Terry calls it massive action. Massive action. The reason why you are not taking action is not because you don't have faith. It's not because you are not reading the Bible. It's because the negative and positive are balancing. One has to overcome one. And in the deficit of positive energy, self-doubt will come. I think I need to be very fast now. Very fast. Self-doubt will come. Number 2, depression. So I think I don't have to talk much about depression, because after self-doubt leads to depression. And look at the word self-doubt. Imagine self-doubt. Stories you are telling yourself about yourself. Lies you are telling yourself. Things you are telling yourself that you could not do. You see, you now became the source. Sometimes, remember that saying that it is not the water outside a boat that sinks the boat. Do not become the source of your self-sabotage. One of my strongest areas of teaching is how to overcome self-sabotaging habits. Procrastination is one of the most destructive self-sabotaging habits. You see yourself admiring your plan, your dreams for years. You have not taken a single step. So remember what I said. Give yourself positive action. It will, look, sir, in electronics engineering, there's something we call active and passive devices. Simple terms, an active device, as the word means, they are devices that supply energy. So what does that mean? You need energy. If you are not taking action, it's because you lack energy. And the deficit of energy is what? Depression. Both in the psychological or even in this domain we are talking about. If people are depressed, what the doctor tells them, be happy, try and catch fun, go for vacation. That is also happening to a lot of people. Depression. But somebody says, so how will taking action cure depression? That is what I explained when I talked about positive energy. Because you are now like a power bank. So when you hear things like words of affirmation, they are not false. They work. They work. When you tell yourself and you make yourself, the only thing we are adding here now is that you take this step. You submit that proposal. You submit that business plan. You pick the call. You book that appointment, let them even turn you down. Those positive actions, they are going back into a feedback. I will have talked about feedback, but let me just continue. Another thing that lack of action now brings about is excuses and procrastination. What are excuses? Excuses are the legitimate reasons we give for failure. Because you have refused to take action, you have become a repository of excuses. I used to use the word you started to mint. You know the way we mint money. If you're into cryptocurrency, you must have the term, how do you mint Bitcoin? How do you mint Ethereum? People mint excuses. Somebody will just sit down and start developing all manner of reasons. What is there? Why will I go for a PhD? How many jobs are PhD holders getting? You are looking for an excuse. You are just generating excuses at your own detriment. Procrastination excuses. I can't talk about procrastination today because that is a whole topic on its own. But what leads to procrastination is usually anxiety. Lack of action causes what? A lot of anxiety. And then when you don't take action, you start having a lot of backlog. And let me tell you, nothing causes anxiety more than backlogs. When you think about things you are supposed to have done that you have not done, things that you could do that you did not do, things that you wanted to do but you did not do. Remember when I opened, your desire is good, your intention is good, but desires and intention cannot kill a mosquito. If you want to strike the mosquito down, you have to take action. So people don't take action. Why people don't take action? Number one, because of their mindset. Because of their mindset. And that's why I said they don't understand that Newton's law is God's law. Nothing moves except there's an external force. Nothing moves except there's an external force. There must be a force. There must be energy. There must be a force. Now, why don't people take action? There is a quote where somebody said, if you do nothing, nothing will be done. Now, if you look at this statement, it looks like a tautology, but it is not. The reason why someone says that if you do nothing, nothing will be done is because there are people who believe whether they do something or they do nothing, something will happen. So you hear things like what will be will be. No. How will what will be? When the world is guided by these laws of motion. Remember what I said before? Without commensurate input, there is no excitation. There is no output. There is no movement. Life is a system. A car is a system. And that's why cars must have energy source. Aircrafts have energy source. Trains have energy source. Motion is controlled and powered by energy. If you are not taking action, it's because you don't have energy. It's because your energy, I remember the conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So there must have been an outlet. The outlet might be people that advise you wrongly. The outlet might be self-doubt, self-fear, procrastination. Oh, you went to church, you went to a program, you had a lot of powerful messages, but by the time you get home, you are back to where you are. That's because you are leaking. You are leaking. Look, successful systems like an aircraft, like a car, successful people like Bill Gates, like Mark Zuckerberg, they are able to contain the energy they receive. Books they read, motivation they got, they were able to contain it and turn it into a real mechanism. Now, how do you take action? I'm trying to round up now. How do you take action? Now, there are a lot of ways when we talk about how to take action, but I want to drop these two important things for us. Now, when we talk about taking action, we're not saying that you should be doing everything. Just last week, I held a meeting on productivity where we agreed that productivity does not mean being busy or running helter-skelter. No. We came up with a theory in that meeting that you must know what is your significant result. Remember the 80-20 principle. It is not, you don't have to take 100% of the steps before you become successful. But you should identify the most important 20% and concentrate on it. You should identify the most important 20% and concentrate on it. Now, let's look at the story of Joseph. Joseph, we all knew his story. When he got to the prison, and then what happened? He was locked up and things like that. Now, Joseph interpreted dreams. But Joseph understood that beside my competence, beside my skills, I need a recommendation. You see, Joseph realized without activating the recommendation system, he will forever be in prison. A lot of people are locked up in their life not because they don't have skills, but they don't have recommendation. They have not built the strategic relationship they need to build to take them from where they are to where they are going. You know, Coach Terry, me too, I have been guilty of this over the past, where I teach so much about competence and I did not teach about relationships. And later on, I started discovering that relationships are important. Relationships are important. It's not just competence. Okay, was Joseph not competent? He was in prison. A lot of people, now look at someone like Karen in Papi. Why did PSG decide that they are going to be paying him 500 million a week? I hope my figure is right. Because now they are no longer trying to latch on just his skill. They want to institutionalize their relationship with Mbappe. You know, there was a time that there was even a rumor that he's the one that is going to be signing transfers and things like that. I've forgotten the term they used, even though he came out to deny it. But please tell me, how will somebody collecting that kind of money not have a say in the club? So I understood. What I'm trying to say now is that Joseph now knew that, look, I am competent, I am holy, I am smart, I'm hardworking, I fear God, I can interpret dreams, but there's something that will get me out of here. I need a strong recommendation. Yes. So you see, at that point, it is not for Joseph now to keep on interpreting more dreams. No. It is now for him to concentrate his action. And that's why he told that man, when you get out of this place, remember me. And to tell you that that was not just a point that the Bible just recorded. The Bible made it clear that the man forgot. So to tell that there was actually a real link between Joseph request. It wasn't just an afterthought that some biblical writer just wrote. It confirmed that it actually happened. That the man was supposed to remember. He forgot Joseph. We don't know the space of time. Some scholars actually say it was up to 10 years, 12 years. Some say it was not up to. But eventually, what happened? So, to take action, you need to know you need to recognize the significance. So we are not saying that taking action means that doing things anyhow. Do you know, for example, if they tell you that you want to start a business, if it's me before, I will say, yeah, develop your business plan. But if your significant action is actually first to go to that social center, to go to that business club and meet a particular man, because sometimes it's not about paperwork, like I said, sometimes it's relationship. So yeah, so divide it and come. Which one is going to work best for me now? Is it developing this business plan or meeting this man? Okay, what if I meet the man and the man says I should bring my business plan? Okay, but what if I create a business plan and I don't meet the man? You understand? So you take your permutation. So when we're talking about action, we're not just saying that we're throwing blind punches. No. You have to be strategic. You have to be what? You have to. So that's why I called it planting an action seed. Now, in closing, I actually have quite a thing here, but I want to stick to time. And like I said, me and Coach Terry, we have a lot of things we are going to do this year. We're going to be having Action Conference 2, and definitely Coach Terry is definitely going to be with us. That is compulsory. You know, we are going to be tearing the whole Nigeria apart. We hope to have some other speakers. There are some other speakers who have indicated interest to come. But definitely Coach Terry is also going to be with us in our sessions as we move on. Okay, now let me quickly well, I know this is a coaching place. This is not really a Bible study, but we are just trying to take some examples. Let me quickly just read from 2 Kings. We all know the story of those 4 leopards during the famine and things like that. There are some significant things I want to bring out in that story. Now, the Bible says there are 4 lepers at the entrance of the gates. So you see, most of the time we are still at the gates of our dreams. We have not entered. The Bible says the 4 letters were the entrance of the gates. So first, know where you are. Remember, in the beginning, I talked about cascaded system. And it's possible that there's a gate that leads to another gate. You might have successfully passed the gate of JAM. You might have even successfully passed the gate of university. In fact, you might have even successfully passed the gate of 2-1. So I know a lot of 2-1, a lot of 1-1, which today are struggling. Thank you, broke.
First class, even first class.
Yes, a lot I know that are broke and live
because of first class.
because they did not know their significant action. I was talking to a first class graduate who does not even know about Erasmus Mundus scholarship in Europe. He doesn't know. So you see, you concentrated all your effort on getting first class, but at this point, where your first class plugs
Don't know
into,
how to turn first class to money.
they don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. So when we are talking about lack of action, we are also talking about massive ignorance. Let me continue reading. Now, they said they are at the gate, and they said one to another, why sit here till we die? So the second point of action has to do with what? Thinking, reasoning. Remember that scripture, which of you intending to build a tower will not sit down first and ask himself? So we are not talking about thinking is part of action. That's why I wrote something on Facebook one day. I said that you are overthinking does not mean you are thinking. Thinking is not worrying. Thinking is strategic. Now, look at what they said in verse 5. I'm jumping it. They rose up at twilight. They rose up at twilight to go into the camp of the Syrians. Okay, I think this is not the place I'm looking for. Good. Verse 7. They rose up, left. Okay, so the Assyrians, the Bible says the Assyrians rose up, left their tents, left their horses, left their asses, left their camp as it was, and fled for their life. Now, what am I just trying to bring out here? What am I trying to bring out here? Sir, and I want to talk to all our listeners. Life is made up of parallel events. You need to understand that this is not just a motivational cliche. This is fact. Every day, there is opportunity being created for you. You have to believe that. That is why they say when opportunity meets preparation, preparation is an action step. Every day, there is opportunity created for you. Just today, I heard about 2 boys I know in Kaduna State hitting a seed funding of $3.2 million, about 1 billion naira. And these guys have been faithful, consistent with building mobile apps. You see? Now, somebody says, how do you know? When do you know? That is the piece of the puzzle. There is no when. There is no how. There is just the fact that there are steps you need to take. Now, why am I putting this? Because some people might be telling me that, hey, my brother, you don't know what I have been through. You don't know how many things I have tried. You don't know how many steps I've taken. You don't know how much I've failed. The lepers did not know what was happening in the camp of the Syrians. This is no coincidence. This is the reward of determination, the reward of taking strategic steps. I have seen this in my own life. There are places I have gone that I was told was totally locked. In fact, they told me that, look, there is no opportunity here. But what did I do? I told the person, no problem. Let me just still submit my documents. Let me still submit my CV. I am very good in this kind of thing. When I go to an organization or I want something, I start building relationships. And this thing works for me a lot. This thing happened to me one day. I built relationship with a man, and the man started calling me and telling me to teach him how to do web design, how to do WordPress. At the end of the day, what I was looking for was, in fact, what I was looking for was not even an issue again. It was not an issue again. I got it on a platter of gold. Opportunities is always available. Only for those who will behave like the Assyrians. Number one, they recognize they are at the gate. They are at the threshold. They are at the verge of making history. Number two, they had functional reasoning. That's why I said people don't take action because of their mindset. I didn't want to go into a lot of things. I'm sorry to say there are a lot of false teaching that a lot of people have been indoctrinated with. But this was a result of what? Sound thinking. They said, if we sit here, we die. Why do we sit here and die? It is even better. Let us go to the camp of the Assyrians.
Action.
Thank you. Action. Because the Assyrians, we might negotiate. You cannot negotiate with hunger. That's the meaning. You can't negotiate with hunger, but you can negotiate with the Assyrians. You can decide that, cool, let me be your slave. So in one of the examples I was talking to, I told them that, okay, I am ready to work here free of charge. And the white man said, this man said he can work here free of charge. Okay, give him the job. Let him work free of charge. After I started working free of charge, he said, okay, be paying his transportation. After I started paying my transportation, they told me and said, come and take the job on a platter of gold. I said, what about interview? They said, you have already done the interview. So, Coach Terry, let me stop here because of time. Imagine, and my light just went off. Thank God although I actually have another light somewhere, but I don't want to break my transmission. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate this session, and I hope I've been able to add some small value to the discussion. We are engaging. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Wow. So much insight, so much value. The one that hit me the most is the one of Joseph, That was very, 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 very inspirational. So true. And that, for me, that's my take home for today. Right? That's my take home for today. I believe, I think I put that on the comments too. Everybody needs to. And my light went off too. It's like it's happening on both sides, right?
That's Nigerian for you.
That's Nigerian for us. So just a minute, I'm going to be back shortly.
No problem, sir. No problem, sir.
Just a minute. Okay, so back now. All right. So
okay, all right.
That's where we're living, So we don't want to talk about that anyway, because
at all
we keep talking about that, we'll be having negative energy, and that's not.
That's true. That's true.
So we need to leave the positive energy. I think I'm very, very grateful. You mentioned so many things. I don't want to go back to them again. But the very important things you mentioned, one of them is positive energy. Positive energy. We need to keep that positive energy very critical. And the story of Joseph, I think I saw it from that light, and Joseph was very intentional with all the giftings, with all the abilities that he had. He still mentioned, please, when you get there, don't forget me. And that's one critical thing that we do today. Of course, a lot of people teach it. A good product will attract itself. A good product will attract itself to the level at which you make the recommendations. You need to say something about it.
That's true.
For me, like I said, that's my take home today, and I'm very intentional. I've seen that, I've read that, I've experienced that, but I'm taking this as something to intentionally begin to do. When you want something, don't just go for it. Say something about it. Say what you want. Nothing will just fall at you. You are good at what you do. Doesn't mean that people will have you. They don't have the time. Say it. I want this thing. Go for it and say something. That aspect of recommendation was very critical. I just need to emphasize that for somebody. All right, it's a critical step. All right, it's a critical step, and there's so many areas in scriptures where that was done.
Yes,
and the story of the lepers too, like you mentioned, even the blind man too. The blind man was sitting sitting out there for so long. And
that's true.
To take just a simple step of jumping into the, even though you have been seeing that a lot of people out there, they jump into the water, they get healed. They jump into the water, they get healed. They jump into the water, they get healed. You've been seeing that, but refused. I don't know how. I don't know why. Maybe there are puzzles that we don't understand, but somehow did not take a step. And he was so close to the miracle, but no, not just he just didn't take a step. Right? That's the reason why I said some of us this conversation sometimes looks so simple at when you look at it's not action. I do it. But the thing is that we all right, we all experience it at different levels. That's why I said at the beginning, for some people this is new. It's totally new. For some people, we know it. We do it once in a while, all right? Like action is defined by Grant Cardone. He said massive action is taking consistently consistent steps over a long period of time till you achieve the goal. That's painstaking steps. That's consistency at its highest level. All right, like consistency or a commitment is doing something over and over again, even if you don't feel like it.
That's it.
You keep doing it, whether you feel it, you don't feel it, you keep doing it. All right, coming out there, doing what you have to do, going out there, like you said, going out there, right, to drop those documents. It's not convenient, it's not easy, right? But you kept at it until you see the results, and it's not an easy process. So, and for those who do it, kudos to you. All right, I know a lot of times in terms of getting to your visions, getting to your goals, getting to where you want to get to, sometimes you have downtimes, and those downtimes, you don't take action, right? You don't take steps. But if you want the results like you want it, like you want it that bad, like you want air, you will go out there and make sure you take those steps. And I love one thing you also mentioned, that preparation is also a step, right?
Yeah.
Preparation is taking action, right?
Yeah.
You need to set strategies. You need to prepare. You need to act as if you're there, and of course, you need to go there and do the work and get the job done. Right? Thank you so much. Our time is up for tonight. For coming up here, all right, on the first time on Pathways to Success. All right,
it was wonderful.
I believe this has been very, very, very phenomenal, very, very inspiring. I've learned, I've gotten something from this. And I believe everyone who also were out there have gotten something, gotten at least one thing. You may not remember everything that I've said today, but there's just one thing that you will take home from tonight's conversation. And that's the reason why I'm here. And that's the reason why I've brought in my friend to actually share some experiences and share some thoughts and knowledge on why it is very needful that we take massive, not just step, massive action towards achieving our goals and our dreams for the year. All right, thank you so much, Wikiman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Take your time out to be here. I appreciate that. And
thank you, sir.
I promise also I will be there at the action.
It will be wonderful. It will be wonderful. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so that's it for tonight. That's it for tonight on Pathways to Success Live with Terry. All right, it's been an amazing section today. I have gotten value, and I appreciate Wikiman, Oluseun Wikiman, for that exposition, for that practical expression or practical exposition on the topic today that we have on why you need to actually take massive action in order to achieve your goals and your dream. All right. It mentioned so many things. I don't want to go back to them again, but it mentioned a lot of critical things. It mentioned the fact that self-doubt will pop in if you don't do it. You're going to have run into depression if you don't do it. You're going to keep giving excuses if you don't do it. You're going to have procrastination if you don't do it. All right. And I want to say this today. I think you mentioned a couple of that too. And I promised I was going to share it on the reasons why I know why people don't do it. One of the very critical reasons I know people don't want to take action is because of the fear of failure. All right. I took this, I think, in the last class on why you need to embrace failure if you want to actually succeed. The fear of failure puts people down. The fear of failing, all right, the fear of making mistakes make people not to want to take steps. All right. If your personality is it's adverse to wanting to fail, you will not take steps. Because I also, at some point in my life, all right, because I want things to be done well, I want to stage a lot of things into it before doing it, and sometimes that puts us back. That makes us not to take the right steps toward achieving that goal and not taking action. So I know a lot of people don't take steps, don't take action because of the fear of failure. Another reason is because of lack of self-confidence. People are not confident, all right, about it. One third reason is the lack of belief. I've touched extensively on belief, all right, on the power of belief, all right, unbelievable power of belief in one of the sections or one of the editions, episodes of the Pathways of Success, right? If you've not listened to it before, you go out there and look out for the video on YouTube. You're going to get that unbelievable power of belief. Listen to this over and over again. You understand why you need high level of belief. Your belief bucket must be high and always kept full for you to be able to take necessary steps, for you to be able to take action, right, towards your goal. Another thing is lack of clarity, all right? Clarity is another one. Some people don't have clear paths on where they're going, all right? They don't have a clear idea. They don't have a clear, distinct path or a clear, distinct route towards what they want to do and how they want to get things done. That stops them from taking action towards their goal. And of course, lack of purpose is another one. Purpose is critical. Why are you doing what you're doing? If you don't understand what you're doing, why you are doing what you're doing, you will not want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, you don't get the results. It's all interrelated. And then one is overanalysis. All right, like I always say, overanalysis leads to paralysis. All right, if you analyze too much, it leads to paralysis, because when you overanalyze, sometimes you get into a place where you don't even want to take the step because you always will not see the end. All right, you will never see the end, or you never see it the way you want it. Even when you won't take the first step, sometimes it doesn't add up into the puzzle. All right, but taking action is a very, very, very rewarding way of getting getting to your goals or getting it done. And then the last one is perfectionism. Perfectionism will kill you if you don't kill it. Don't always want to be perfect from day one. Don't always want to get it right. Take steps, plan, strategy, have it all, and then execute. You will get the results that you desire if you do it. All you just need to do is do it. Just do it, evaluate, take the next step. Do it consistently over a period of time, of course. And that's what we're talking about, massive action. You will get your results that you desire. All right. So I believe we've had a credible time today. I believe this has been massive for you. This has been very transformational. This has been very inspirational. And of course, this has been very, very productive for you. And I want to encourage you that you put the nuggets, the principles that have been shared by myself and Wikiman tonight, all right, into practice. Take steps. This will not give you any result if you don't go out there and use it. If you don't go out there and take the action. If you don't go out there and take the steps, it will give you any result. So I encourage you, go out there. That goal you set, that dream, the goals you set for yourself for this year, go out there and take steps. Go out there and take steps. Little baby steps, all right? If you want to take adult steps, go ahead. But we encourage baby steps. So that when you fall, you can always pick yourself all over again and go ahead and create the result that you desire for your life and your career or business. So thank you so much, all right, for everyone who's joined tonight. All right, my name remains Terry Omodibo, and we're going to be here again back, all right, next week, Friday, for another critical section of the pathway to success, the recipe for success in life, career, or business. And of course, it promises to be very exciting and transformational. My name is Terry.